Friday.
Tonight's headlines: the plan to shield Americans from smallpox weapons attack. Revealed who put legal protection for a drug company into the Homeland Security law. President Bush joins critics of the top Senate Republican, but stands by him in the end. Also tonight, how bad will this winter get? The latest on the El Nino effect. Eye on America, the problem with airbags. Plans for a safer one for kids hit a snag. And a promising new approach to treating breast cancer that could save countless lives.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. It has enormous implications for public health and the battle against bioterror. President Bush is putting into motion a controversial plan to offer smallpox vaccine to any American who wants it to defend against possible attack with smallpox weapons. Before smallpox was officially eradicated a few decades ago, it killed hundreds of millions of people. But the vaccine itself can cause horrid side effects, even death. CBS's John Roberts reports the president's plan, the benefits, and the risks.
The first wave of vaccinations will be mandatory and will begin in early January. 500,000 U.S. troops who could be on the front lines of any bioweapon attack. Next will come voluntary vaccination of up to 10 million healthcare workers, first responders, police, and firemen, the first line of defense in any outbreak. The public will have access to the vaccine in two ways. Americans can immediately ask to be inoculated with existing stocks of the old smallpox vaccine, or they can wait until later next year when new vaccine production comes online. White House officials said today if someone really wants the vaccine in the coming weeks, they can get it. President Bush wrestled with the decision of who to vaccinate for months. The reason? As infectious disease specialist Dr. Paul Offit told Dan Rather, the smallpox vaccine can be dangerous.
We know that if we immunize 1 million people, that there will be 15 people that will suffer a severe permanent adverse outcome and one person who may die from the vaccine.
The White House felt the threat of a bioterror attack from Iraq, which is rumored to possess smallpox, or Al-Qaeda, was great enough to chance vaccinating millions of people. But Jonathan Tucker, author of Scourge, the once and future threat of smallpox, says there's only circumstantial evidence that Iraq has smallpox, and at present, the risk far outweighs the benefit.
It is a potential concern, but I don't see it as an imminent threat. And we need to weigh that against the known risks associated with mass vaccination.
Critics of the White House program say since a person can be effectively vaccinated up to 3 days after they've been exposed to smallpox, there's no need to do it preventively. But President Bush knew politically he had to offer the vaccine to anyone who wants it. The White House will point out tomorrow that there are millions of Americans who should not be inoculated, people with certain medical conditions that put them at a high risk for severe reaction. But the decision to vaccinate will likely be left between a patient and their physician. Dan?
John Roberts reporting live from the White House. A provision in the new Homeland Security law protects smallpox vaccine makers from lawsuits over possible side effects. But another provision was quietly tucked into that law to shield and benefit a big drug company that has nothing to do with smallpox vaccine. Who put it there and why? CBS's Jim Acosta investigated and came up with some answers.
It's been a mystery in Washington for weeks. Just before the president signed the Homeland Security bill into law, an unknown member of Congress inserted a provision into the legislation that blocks lawsuits against the maker of a controversial vaccine preservative called thimerosal. Drug giant Eli Lilly makes thimerosal.
Did you have a good day today?
And it's the mercury in the preservative that many parents say causes autism in thousands of children like Mary Kate Kilpatrick.
You think she's a victim?
I think autism is mercury poisoning.
But nobody in Congress would admit to adding the provision. Until now.
I did it. I'm proud I did it.
House Majority Leader Dick Armey tells CBS News he did it to keep vaccine makers from going out of business under the weight of mounting lawsuits.
We need to keep it in there if you want the vaccines to be available for your children in the future. But we're not in the interest in Homeland Security of making opportunities available for trial lawyers to get rich.
Republican Dan Burton is not buying it. The grandfather of an autistic child, Burton says Army slipped it in at the last minute, too late for debate.
And I said, well, who told you to put that in? Was it one of the senators? He said, no, they asked me to do it at the White House.
Critics say the Bush family and the administration have too many ties to Eli Lilly. There's President Bush's father, who sat on the company's board in the 70s. White House Budget Director Mitch Daniels, once an Eli Lilly executive. And Eli Lilly CEO Sidney Terrell serves on the President's Homeland Security Advisory Council.
Eli Lilly and Company, no one, not our CEO, not myself, not anyone who works with me, asked the White House to insert this legislation.
But Michael and Kathy Kilpatrick argue the thimerosal provision is not designed to protect the nation, but rather to protect Eli Lilly.
If a congressman comes forward and says, it was me, what do you have to say to that congressman?
I'd ask him if he knew it was protecting mercury shot into our kids.
Because Army is retiring, some say the outgoing majority leader is the perfect fall guy, taking the heat to shield the White House from embarrassment. It's a claim both the White House and Army deny. Jim Acosta, CBS News, New York.
Senate Republican leader Trent Lott's troubles grew today when President Bush himself joined the critical chorus. However, the president indicated he does not think that Lott should be removed from his position of power. The turmoil is over recent comments by Lott that some have branded as racist. CBS's chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer has the latest on this.
The president roundly denounced Lott's now infamous remark that the country would have been better off had it elected segregationist Strom Thurmond in 1948.
Any suggestion that the segregated past was acceptable or positive is offensive, and it is wrong.
The mixed-race crowd responded with thunderous applause as the president singled out the Senate Republican by name.
Recent comments by Senator Lott do not reflect the spirit of our country.
Again, cheers and applause.
He has apologized, and rightly so. Every day our nation was segregated was a day that America was unfaithful to our founding ideals.
It was at Thurmond's 100th birthday party that Lott said the country would have been better off if Thurmond had been president. But as he called in apologies to several talk shows yesterday, he said he was praising the man, not his policies of long ago. After the president's speech, his office issued another statement saying Senator Lott agrees with President Bush that his words were wrong and he is sorry. He repudiates segregation because it is immoral. As the controversy grew, Kentucky Congresswoman Ann Northrup became the first Republican officeholder to suggest Lott should step down.
Primarily what I want to do is make sure that I disassociate myself with his remarks and say that I've lost confidence in his leadership.
And the Congressional Black Caucus called on the Senate to censure him. And that may not be the end of it. Sources tell me that influential Republicans, some of them inside the White House, are now urging the president to work behind the scenes to get Lott to step down as the Senate Majority Leader. Dan.
Bob Schieffer reporting live from our Washington bureau. U.S. intelligence officials told CBS News today they have no credible evidence that Iraq has given nerve gas to al-Qaeda terrorists. The Washington Post today cited uncorroborated reports that Islamic extremists linked to al-Qaeda obtained the gas in northern Iraq and may have smuggled it into Turkey. On another front, the U.S. said today it, quote, regretted North Korea's decision to reopen a mothballed nuclear reactor which can produce weapons-grade plutonium. North Korea says it is being forced into the action because of the U.S.-led suspension of fuel oil shipments. The long-simmering crisis in the Roman Catholic Church may be coming to a full rolling boil over child sex abuse by priests. The heat is most intense in the Archdiocese of Boston, where many parishioners are demanding that Cardinal Bernard Law resign. CBS's Byron Pitts is in Boston tonight.
Boston's Cardinal Bernard Law at the Vatican in Rome tonight, virtually in hiding. His credibility at home badly damaged. His career as a leader in the U.S. Catholic Church now in real jeopardy as the calls for his resignation grow louder every day. Yes. Last night, Voice of the Faithful, a powerful organization of some 25,000 lay Catholics, joined the chorus.
This diocese is currently in a state of chaos. It faces issues of moral bankruptcy.
Massachusetts Attorney General Thomas Riley subpoenaed Law and 7 bishops to appear before a grand jury as part of a criminal investigation.
This never should have gotten to this point. This could have been stopped a long time ago, but it wasn't. There was a cover-it. There was an elaborate scheme to keep it away from law enforcement and to keep it quiet.
Experts on the Catholic Church say if Law goes, several bishops could follow.
Would other bishops whom he had a hand in appointing in other places and who also had knowledge of these cases and are now running their own diocese be subject to the same kind of scrutiny and the same kind of pressure that he's been under?
Law reportedly offered his resignation to John Paul II in Rome in person last April, but the Pope said no, ordering his man back to Boston to fix the problem. But the problem, like the protest here, has only grown larger. Court documents recently released show new allegations of child sex abuse by priests, affairs between priests and female parishioners. One priest fathered 2 children, and more evidence of a church cover-up. All this as the Boston Archdiocese contemplates filing bankruptcy in response to 400 sex abuse lawsuits still pending. As for Cardinal Law, he will meet with the Pope tomorrow morning. We will see if he resigns. Dan?
Byron Pitts reporting live from Boston. President Bush today completed the shakeup of his economic team, naming investment banker Stephen Friedman as his new chief economic advisor. Some Republicans had lobbied against Friedman, saying he isn't a strong enough supporter of additional tax cuts. The struggling economy got a boost last month from holiday shoppers. November retail sales were up a solid 0.4%. On the CBS Market Watch, a mixed day for Wall Street. The Dow fell, the Nasdaq rose. Angelo and Maria Galina of Belmont, California, are investors of a different kind. Since 1985, they've bought $124,000 worth of lottery tickets, and it finally paid off. They beat 24 trillion to 1 odds by winning 2 jackpots in one day for more than $17 million. Next on the CBS Evening News Eye on America, the struggle to develop a smarter airbag that can save children's lives.
Just because a toothbrush is electric doesn't mean it works like a Sonicare. It has patented Sonic technology. Whiter, healthier teeth in 28 days, guaranteed. Ask your dental professional about Sonicare.
A report in a leading medical journal recognizes the link between vitamins and the reduced risk of chronic diseases and recommends all adults take 1 multivitamin daily. So take Centrum today, always complete from A to Zinc.
There's Carlina. She has never taken a single sick day, ever.
What's Carlina's secret? Tylenol Cold Severe Congestion. It provides triple action nasal, chest, and head relief.
She's the perfect employee.
After a meal like this, all you want to feel in your stomach is a good belly laugh. That's why for gassy foods, there's Beano. Taken right before you eat, Beano's natural enzyme helps prevent gas before it even starts. Enjoy food without gas.
Dum da da dum. Dum da 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 dum. Ba da 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 dum. Dum da da dum.
Rich, delicious V8 vegetable juice has a full serving of vegetables. Because sometimes what you eat doesn't. V8. Drink smarter.
We're in a barracks for the Tylex Soap Scum Challenge. These muddy, sweaty recruits will shower day in and day out, building up a film of scum. A combination of soap, sweat, body oil, and dirt. Is this soap scum too tough for Tylex? Well, hold on to your shorts. New improved Tylex Soap Scum Remover dissolves soap scum so you just wipe it away. That scum didn't stand a chance. Tylex Soap Scum Remover. Proof. Nothing's tougher than Tylex.
Morning, Joe. New haircut? No. New shoes? No.
Hey, Joe. You been working out?
No.
Hey, Joe. Shave your mustache?
Nope. You sure that's not a new haircut? Yes. Did you just get back from vacation? No. Did you get a promotion? No. Did I? No. No.
What's different? He finally asked his doctor about Viagra. Ready to ask your doctor about Viagra for the first time? Find out if a free sample is right for you. To learn more, visit Viagra.com. Ask your doctor and see the difference.
Government sources said today the administration has decided to order a small increase in fuel economy for gas-guzzling sport utility vehicles, light trucks, and minivans. Beginning with the 2005 model year, such vehicles will have to get about 1.5 more miles per gallon of fuel. This new requirement will be eased in over 3 years. The government says that in the 15 years since airbags have been in common use in cars, they have saved the lives of nearly 10,000 crash victims. But they have also killed more than 200 people, many of them children. And automakers are struggling to develop a smart airbag to prevent such tragedies among the young. Wyatt Andrews reports for Eye on America.
The youngster's neck was broken.
5 years ago, it was the safety story that horrified the country. Passenger side airbags were killing children because the explosive force required to protect an unbelted man was breaking the necks of children. Congress ordered the automakers to invent a smart airbag by next year, a bag that could sense a child and turn itself off. However, some automakers are now telling the government the bag is not ready and could still do harm. Ford tells CBS News the company is concerned about the reliability of smart airbag technology. Chrysler made this videotape showing how its smartest airbag can still be faked out.
An adult can be improperly classified.
The bag turns off when a small grown-up takes weight off the seat
By sitting with their feet on the front edge of the seat cushion.
The first one is a seat pad.
The smart airbags that have been developed know how much you weigh. They can sense the position of your seat. They can change the force of the airbag depending on the severity of the crash. But the technology hit a wall at one critical point: how to tell a small grown-up from a child.
They're absolutely terrified about that.
Veteran analyst John McElroy says the industry is specifically worried about killing a light adult, say a 105-pound woman, who sits out of position and fools the system into thinking she's a child or not there.
Hey, there's nobody in the seat anymore. I'll turn off the airbag. Bang, what if I get in an accident? Right at that moment, I'm unprotected. What they're terrified about is being forced to put in some sort of technology that could end up killing their customers.
Federal regulators watching the development of the smart airbag have agreed to be flexible about next year's deadline, but are demanding 100% compliance in 3 years.
When I get in the seat, you'll see that the airbag indicator cycles to an on position.
Out of the big three automakers, there is one, General Motors, that claims it has solved the child versus grown-up problem, even for that lightweight grown-up moving around.
Our system is smart enough to know that that is still an adult seated in that position and that that person should still get an airbag.
Passengers can protect themselves by always wearing seatbelts and always seating small children in the back. $100 million into development, and the smartest airbag out there will still not be safer than the lowly seatbelt. In Detroit, Wyatt Andrews for Eye on America.
Next here on the CBS Evening News, storm warning. Experts say it's an El Nino winter for America, and that means a lot more of this could be on the way.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who's searching for a way to get back into the rhythm of life, maybe it's time you ask your doctor about Ambien, or call toll-free 1-877-9-AMBIEN.
Well, when I got hurt in this work, glad I had supplemental insurance.
Supplemental insurance? What's that?
Aflac. Well, even best insurance doesn't give you cash to cover things like lost pay, other expenses. This does.
What does?
Aflac. Shouldn't ask about it at work.
Really? And what's it called?
Aflac!
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Aflac!
Bayer would like you to know that American Heart Association research says women over 50 and men over 40 have suffered more heart attacks. To help prevent another heart attack, ask your doctor about aspirin, and remember Bayer. Studies prove aspirin can reduce your risk of another heart attack by up to 50%. Only Bayer has both low-strength 81 milligram and Bayer Women's Aspirin plus calcium.
Aspirin is not appropriate for everyone, so be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
Trust your heart to Bayer.
Hey, there's
Progresso with grown-up-sized veggies, white chunks of chicken, big curly noodles. Preferred 4-to-1 over Campbell's. Our soup speaks for itself. Discover the better taste of Progresso.
With Crest White Strips, the strip stays for 30 minutes, so it whitens 5 times better.
Now we're talking.
Crest White Strips. The secret to a whiter smile is in the strip.
Where will you be when your diarrhea comes back? You should have taken Imodium AD the first time. Don't wait till it's too late.
The foreign lottery scam. They promise big winnings, but to collect, there's a catch. They tried to hook our Andy Rooney. He wasn't taken in, but Geneva was, and wait till you see how. A Friday Consumer Alert. Also see The Last Laugh, our weekly dose of news humor, tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
It's beginning to look a lot like an El Nino winter. The 2 big ice storms we've already seen could be just the first signs of what's coming in the months ahead. CBS's Jim Axelrod has the chilling details of the latest forecasts from U.S. climate experts.
It's been a solid week of solid ice in North Carolina, a pre-winter ice storm of unprecedented punch. More than 1 million people were left without power, and it will be Saturday before electricity is fully restored statewide.
How do we get ourselves in a position so that 1.7 million customers lose power?
The answer starts with the weather phenomenon that could reproduce Carolina's wet winter mess throughout the South during the next few months.
The worldwide phenomena that will be affecting our climate most in the winter, and this winter, is El Nino.
That's right. He's back. El Nino, the warming of the Pacific Ocean near the equator. El Ninos shift the jet stream, the nation's big weather maker, further south and east for months at a time. This changes storm patterns and temperatures along the jet stream dividing line.
The northern half of the country is going to be warmer than normal, and the southern half of the country is going to have more storms than normal.
That's more storms from Carolina to California, which might be unsettling to those on the West Coast who carried these images from the last El Nino 5 years ago that caused $2.5 billion of damage in California alone. But fear not, say forecasters, this one will be much more moderate.
We're certainly taking note of it, but at this time we're not as concerned as we were in 97, 98.
If true, this El Nino could bring with it just the kind of rain drought-plagued states like Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico need right now. Unlike last time, this El Nino could have plenty of silver linings in its storm clouds. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
A Virginia judge said today sniper suspect John Allen Muhammad's murder trial won't start until next October. He also barred television coverage. Muhammad and 17-year-old John Lee Malvo are charged in the spree that left 10 dead and 3 wounded. One of the critically wounded sniper victims, 13-year-old Iron Brown, was accompanied by First Lady Laura Bush today in a visit to the hospital where he was treated. The sniper's youngest victim, Brown, was discharged last month. Straight ahead now on the CBS Evening News, the odds of surviving breast cancer may now be a lot better for her and many other women. The results of an important new study next.
Number 6 is wide open.
I have a team to coach and games to win.
Ask your doctor about Singulair. Or for more information about Singulair, visit Singulair.com.
When it comes to safety, no one's standards are higher than those of doctors and hospitals. That's why they rely on the medicine and Tylenol more than any other pain reliever. When used as directed, Tylenol is the safest type of pain reliever you can buy. The most recommended brand for more kinds of pain than any other. In fact, Tylenol is taken over 1 million times each and every day. Small wonder it's still the #1 choice of doctors, even after 25 years.
Yes, doctor.
I have your colon polyp test results. Dan? Dan, you're fine.
Help stay that way with new Caltrate Colon Health. A clinical trial suggests Caltrate may reduce the risk of recurrent colon polyps. Don't wait. Take new Caltrate Colon Health.
You've got one. You've probably got more than one. And chances are one of yours is one of ours. Because nobody in credit cards gives you Bank One's range of choices. You could use this one to get cash back. This one to fly. This one to show you care. Fact. Bank One gives you over 1,200 choices. Why do we go to all that trouble? Don't you think somebody should?
Does that dustpan line ever really go away? Why do your floors look clean, but your socks look dirty? The Swiffer Sweeper, with its dry cloth's unique 3D texture, traps and locks dirt, dust, and hair better than a broom. The sweeper is super light and maneuverable, so it can reach those hard-to-reach places. Why do kids and messes seem to be made for each other? Stop cleaning. Start Swiffering.
One is fun, but two is funner. One's not bad, but two's my number. Together life feels grand. Together with my best friend.
Where can you find browsing built for two? Introducing MSN 8, where advanced Microsoft software lets you link up with a friend and see the best of the web together. For browsing AOL can't match, it's better with the butterfly. Call 866 try MSN 8.
Coming up tonight on News Channel 5 at 6, another scandal involving NES. This time, 2 employees got caught doing something on company time they shouldn't have been doing at all. More at 6.
We end tonight with promising medical news about treating breast cancer. New research indicates there's a way to reduce the odds of a breast cancer recurrence and to boost the odds of survival. CBS News correspondent Cynthia Bowers has the living proof in this Health Watch report.
When Darcy Cusmere volunteered for a new type of treatment for breast cancer, it was for a pretty basic reason.
I really just wanted to get through this part as soon as possible.
But she never dreamed that simply decreasing the amount of time between chemotherapy sessions would wind up increasing her chances for survival. A 4-year study of more than 2,000 breast cancer patients released today found that administering a lower dose of chemo drugs more frequently led to a 31% drop in the death rate, as well as a 26% reduction in the recurrence of cancer. Other benefits included fewer side effects and a shorter term of treatment.
The big problem with getting rid of cancer is not killing cancer cells. The big problem is that the cancer cells grow back. By shortening the period between treatments, we give the cancer cells less time to grow back.
Key to the success is the drug Neupogen. Because toxic chemo drugs kill healthy cells along with malignant ones, a 3-week interval between treatments was needed to allow the body's bone marrow time to recover and begin producing white blood cells again. Neupogen boosts the production of these infection fighters, which allows patients to handle a 2-week cycle.
And we're really talking about saving tens of thousands of lives every year in the United States alone.
And that's only when applied to breast cancer. Doctors say what's most exciting is that now they've figured out not just that this works, but how it works. And they hope that one day they'll be able to apply this same formula to different kinds of cancer. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Chicago.
Part of our world tonight. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, go to cbsnews.com. AOL keyword CBS News.
From your news and information leader, this is News Channel 5 at 6 with Chris Clark and Vicki Yates.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Couch. Chris Clark is off tonight. First on 5, another scandal involving another mid-state utility.
They work for you. NES linemen getting paid to get the power back on after last week's snowstorm. But as News Channel 5